Okie dokie. Can you see my presentation, my PowerPoint presentation? Thumbs up. Okay, good. All right. So I am so excited about our topic today because this is very important to me. As an autism mom, this is, um, when for those of you who know, like I always assume that all of you know me. Um, but for those of you who know, if you're watching this and recording, my name is Mahal Mingus. I lead the Share His Oils team, and I'm a physical therapist. I'm an autism mama and a homeschooling mom, and I just love everything that's natural wellness. And so this is so important to me because as in our journey with Axel, my son, who is now 15 years old, from the very beginning, when we go to the doctor, all they talk about is poop. you know, let's talk about your child's poop. That's all we talked about for years. And so digestion and the gut was very, very important, aspect of us dealing with autism. And that's why this topic is very near and dear to me. Um, I am so thankful for Millie, Mildred, and Dana that have agreed to do this with me to share with you guys through Zoom every second and fourth Monday. And if you need any of our information, I have that on this screen. So screenshot it. We have email, phone number, and our website. All right. So let's see. All right, so what is a microbiome? So it's when you look at the gut, the microbiome plays a very important role in digestion and the immune system. A microbiome that's just composed of 100 trillions of microorganisms of thousands of different species. And you'd say, what are those? Those are bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Yes, we have all of them. And usually in a healthy body, there's just a balance of good and bad. They just kind of like go along very well in a healthy body. Um, all right. So when you look at our body, we are 10% human cells, and guys, we are 90% microbial cells. So that means that like we're just like walking bacteria and parasites. That's crazy. So 90% of our body's microbiome is in the gut, and 75% of our immune system is in the gut. And that's why taking care of your gut is very, very important. So if you look at, if like, let's say you look at human DNA, and let's say I'll look at my DNA and I'll compare it with Marlo's DNA, we're probably about 99.9% identical if you look at our DNAs. If you compare my DNA to a chimpanzee, we're like 99% identical as far as DNA. But if you compare our microbiomes, if I compare my microbiome to Dana's microbiome, we're probably between 10 to 15% identical, and like 85 to 90% different. So our microbiome is really the one that, if you think about it, gives us more identity, because like if you look at our DNA, we're like all almost identical, but microbiomes very, very varied and very different. So when you think microbiome in your gut, think of it as like this really lush rainforest. And the more diverse the species are in there, the more animals and plant species are there, the better the function of your gut. All right, so what can harm our microbiome? So there's issues of modern lifestyle that can really affect our microbiome. Number one, GMO foods. Yikes. That can damage your microbiome. Number one there in the list is your glyphosate, which is present in your GMO products. This has been present since 1974, and they have a study that showed that there's decreased levels in blood work of healthy people, and the glyphosate has increased in blood work of chronically ill people. And this is not just like one illness. This is many, many illnesses, from cancer to autism to ADHD to heart disease, all of that. It's crazy. All right. The second one is antibiotics. Antibiotics will negatively influence 1/3, you guys, 1/3 of your good bacteria. And some strains of bacteria fail to recover even after 6 months. Can you imagine? Like, I look back when my kids were little and like they would, or like, fall and winter season, they would just have like, they get sick, take them to the doctor, antibiotics. They get sick, into antibiotics. And I think about this, like some strains of bacteria fail to recover in 6 months, and not, I haven't, my pediatrician have not offered a probiotic, after that. I didn't know any better. And so that's just crazy, like how antibiotics affect our gut negatively. Antibiotics has a place in medicine, it has a place in our life, but that is very, very much widely misused. All right, the third one is toxins. Toxins in our home. If you have not detoxified your home naturally, approach any one of my leaders here. We can tell you eagerly how to detoxify your home. But there's toxins in our household products, in our personal care products, and you can poison yourself and your family even before breakfast. Think of all the stuff that you use when you wake up. You brush your teeth. Is your toothpaste, healthy or free of harsh chemicals? Shampoo your hair, your soap, your conditioner, the makeup, the deodorant, all of that, you can really poison yourself even before you eat your poisoned cereal. It is crazy. So how does that affect the gut? Number one is inflammation. And a very common gut issue is your leaky gut syndrome. Like if you look here on one side of this slide, that should be the normal one. There's normal tight junctions. This is the lining of your gut. And then on the other side, you have this really kind of inflamed gut, and then it would develop gaps in your intestinal cells. So when there's gaps, there's nutrients that fall and escape into the bloodstream, and that's what causes inflammation. So there's like, when you're not taking care of your gut, there's practically like holes, in your intestinal lining, and that is really, really bad. So when you say, okay, then what does that do? When there's inflammation, this triggers a whole body inflammation. So not just in your gut, but a whole body inflammation in a very weak and compromised immune system. Remember, 75% of your immune system is in your gut. And if there's inflammation there, then, your immune system is just very weak. So like, if you think nowadays, people say, oh, I need to, really boost my immune system. I'm going to take lots of vitamin C. No, there's more to it than that. You look at your gut and you take care of it that way. Whole body inflammation, especially, guys, brain inflammation. And this is what we talk about with the gut-brain connection. So what happens if you have this gut inflammation, then this triggers a whole body inflammation, especially brain inflammation. What does that do to the brain? Number one, neurotransmitters. Think of your neurotransmitters just like your cell phones. This is like how different systems of your body communicate, especially in your brain. That is created in your gut. So if your gut is messed up and inflamed, it cannot produce neurotransmitters that are good as well. So that becomes dysfunctional. Number two, blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier is the sieve that protects your brain so that, there's not a lot of toxins or bad chemicals that can get through your brain. Guess what? If you have an inflamed brain or an inflamed gut, that it's kind of like the leaky gut syndrome. It kind of does the same thing on your blood-brain barrier. So when there's gaps there or holes, then it can allow toxins or harsh chemicals that are not supposed to be in your brain. Like, yikes, that's crazy. And then microglia. Microglia are your cells in your brain that act like janitor. They're the ones that take care of like the garbage and the stuff, the dead cells and all of that in your brain. So they're the ones that are responsible for kind of, like cleaning that up. It affects the production of your microglia cells as well. And that's very important for brain function. The last one is neurogenesis. And neurogenesis is the ability of your brain to regenerate. And that's being affected with brain inflammation. So there's one study where with brain inflammation, it showed that it can decrease the size of the hippocampus. This is the one that's responsible for our memory. This is the first study that published that neurogenesis of hippocampus is really regulated by your microbiome. So what this study really showed us is that if you have a healthy diet, there's just like increased diversity of your microbiome, then you have good gut function, and there like your hippocampus also increases in size. Isn't it amazing how you can influence your brain by eating healthy and having a healthy lifestyle? If you have a poor diet, it decreases the diversity of your microbiome, it decreases your gut function, and it also literally decreases the size of your hippocampus. Oh my goodness, that is, I love that study. That is just crazy, crazy. All right, so are you toast? Are we toast? What are we gonna do? All right, there is hope. Why your DNA isn't your destiny. The new science of epigenetics reveals how the choices you make can change your genes and those of your kids too. How cool. All right, so DNA expression is affected by 10% genetic information. So we cannot change that. That's already in our DNA. But 90% of how our DNA is expressed is like our choice by choosing diet and nutrition that's good for us, getting rid of toxins in our home, and trying to manage our stress and releasing our emotional traumas. We learned that as Oilers. And lifestyle choices like getting good sleep, having exercise, say no to smoking or alcohol or drugs. 90% your choice. You have the ability to change the expression of your DNA. How cool is that? That is so cool. Oops, why is that in there? Oh, sorry. All right, so Dr. Ollie calls that biohacking. We can actually hack the DNA expression, our DNA expression, by how we choose. Again, 90% your choice. Oh my goodness, I love this. So how do we do it? Number one is diet. Number two, exercise. So let me look into the diet, and then Marlo, no, who's next? Dana, Millie is next to give you more information on how to take care of your gut. So here are just going to give you a list of food that are good for your gut and then food that are bad for your gut. So the good foods are apples, pears, bananas, beets, okra, carrots, cabbage, legumes, asparagus, berries, brown rice, yay! Garlic, flaxseed, chia seed, grapes, and green leafy vegetables. Okay, those are so good for your gut. Remember, I think you need to have what, 25 to 30 grams of fiber daily. Yeah, 25 to 30 grams of fiber recommended daily. So eat your greens. Bad foods for your gut: sugar, white flour, especially the refined, ones, soda, dairy, salt, coffee, excess meat, excess spicy foods, alcohol, drugs, over-the-counter, and prescription medicine. I did not say that. This is from a book that I trust. So anyway, there you go. That's one way to take care of your gut. We should be biohackers. All right, next I'm going to turn it over to Millie. I'm going to stop here. All right. So, Millie, where are you? Millie, can you unmute yourself? Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, let me just, no way. Am I sharing my YouTube video? Okay, there I am. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be talking about an extensive topic is probiotics and enzymes. And I found some really interesting information that Mahal already talked about, so I'm just going to touch a little bit on it. It's the connection between the enteric nervous system. Let me get my thieves lozenge outside. I thought I had time. It's the connection between the enteric nervous system and the use of enzymes and probiotics to help our gut. There's a function there because Our digestive system is known as the secondary brain as well. And it kind of like regulates hormones. It doesn't kind of, it does regulate hormones. It has something to do with that. It can tell your brain when to eat and how much to eat it, so you don't overeat or undereat. So it regulates a whole bunch of stuff that goes directly to our brain. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit. So first of all, I wanted to talk about probiotics because probiotics are very easily found in our food sources. Okay, but we would need to eat a whole bunch of those food sources in order to get like a really good amount for our gut flora. Why? Because of this rainforest that Mahal mentioned before. That's kind of like carpeting that goes all around inside our digestive system. And that carpeting is like a filter, like just like for Earth, the rainforest uh, filters the air and makes Earth healthy. The microbiome, it's held by the probiotics. So we need those to keep the rainforest alive. I guess it's like the rain and the fertilizer and everything that makes it grow. So it helps with digesting nutrients. Probiotics help suppress harmful bacteria. It also helps to make vitamins for vital functions within the body. So it has a lot to do with our immunity. You can find probiotic food like in fermented food like kimchi and sauerkraut and kefir and things like kombucha. Kombucha has a lot of probiotics, but Young Living also has Live 9, which has 9 different strains. And one thing that I like about Live 9 is that it has fructooligosaccharides. And those are probiotics derived from fruits, which make the fructooligosaccharides are great for urinary tract health. So that's not technically in your digestive tract, because it's another piping, but it's connected directly, and it helps a lot with gynecological and everything that has to do with your urinary tract. And if you ever need probiotics for those specific ones, fructooligosaccharides or FOS. Those are great. So probiotics are like the foundation, and they provide the ground level baseline for your overall health and wellness. So if you're good on probiotics, you have a good foundation where you can build your health. So people may say, oh, I use this supplement and I use that supplement. They don't work. Maybe they don't work because they don't have the right soil for the supplement to work. And probiotics will provide you the baseline that you need. Okay, so now let's talk about enzymes. That's all I have to say on probiotics. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can find on the Googles, but it's all good for you. Probiotics are always good for you, and you need them. Enzymes, they are, in my mind, I see them like the spark plugs of your car. Without the spark plugs, there's no spark, there's no current, and there's no communication to your motor. And you may be able to function, you may be able to drive your car when the spark plugs are bad, but eventually it'll quit working. So it's about the same thing or very similar to it. That's my mind, like kind of like trying to make a connection. So enzymes, I always knew that they were like in like pineapple and papaya, and I already ate those things and I thought I was good, but it turns out that there's a whole bunch of different enzymes and they do a whole bunch of different stuff. And I looked them all up, and there's a whole bunch of them and they all have really hard names. And if I say them all, I'm just gonna take all my time here, so I'm not gonna say them. I can send you the information if you want to. My email is sassychachita06@gmail.com. Send me an email, tell me that you want that information, I'll send it to you, but I'm not gonna nerd out here because I can take a long time there. So enzymes are really good because they can provide us with the tools that we need to unlock the nutrition that our body needs for the specific circumstances that we're in. You get me? So in 2001, Gary Young said in one of his conventions, and this is a transcript from that convention from 2001, and he said this: how are we going to build a strong immune system that they, referring to their children, that our children are going to be able to stand against the plagues that are coming? That gave me chills. And he was talking about the plague that back in 2001, he said that there was a plague in the United States. Do you know what that was? It was the white plague, the white plague that was causing a lot of inflammation. And like Mahal said, the inflammation that leads to disease. The white plague is the overuse of sugar, salt, and flour. Sugar, salt, and flour, because we cannot digest that and break it down in even, I mean, maybe in the small amounts, but not in the amounts that the American diet uses it right now. So we need to be able to control that white plague. And now, I mean, whenever he made that question, how are we going to give our children a good foundation so they can have good nutrition and fight off disease? That's when he introduced some of his enzymes that we still use now. We have 4 different enzymes, and they all of them follow the 3 basic classifications for enzymes. We have our metabolic enzymes. Those help your brain. They cause you to think. They are good for the functions of regeneration. For example, if you end up breaking your finger, if you need to see better, if you cut yourself and the tissue needs repairing, those metabolic enzymes help you. They help you with mental fatigue as well. So we need enzymes for our metabolism. It says in a magazine that I read, I forgot to write it down, but in a magazine that I read, it refers to the enteric nervous system, the one that is located in our gut, as our second brain. And there's a reason why malfunction of digestion is connected to mental fatigue as a sign of a metabolic enzyme deficiency. So if you are something is going on over here, you better check this over here, your pancita, your belly. Okay. The second classification is digestive enzymes, and those help us digest the food and assimilate it. And the third classification that we follow is the food enzymes. Those unlock the nutrition from our food and help us digest it, but also speed up the digestion of the food. So those 3 rules are followed by the 4 enzymes that we have. We have essential cymes. Essential cymes, it's a tablet and it has 2 colors. So it has immediate release, and it also has that like later, for later release, delayed release. It helps you digest sugars and proteins and even the most complicated fats. It has an ingredient called pancreas lipase. That's the one that helps with the fat. We also have essential times 4, essential E4, let's call it E4, helps us also release enzymes in our intestines. It has a white capsule and a yellow capsule. The white capsule, it's immediate release and it helps break down sugars, cellulose, fiber, think gas, and proteins. And the yellow capsule is a delay release and it breaks down heavier fats. So my favorite is essential times 4, but actually I use all of them. Detoxime is a teeny itty bitty capsule. That's an immediate release form of enzymes. And it has the fewest essential oils, but the most herbs. It helps flush the body from dead white blood cells. It has also cumin, which provides iron. And it also helps you with bloating and gas, and also helps those who are lactose intolerant. So if you're lactose intolerant and you like to have ice cream once in a while, detoxime would be something that may help you. We also have allerzyme. Allerzyme is really good because it has the most essential oils, and it has all the types of different enzymes in it. It contains lactase, which is for lactose. It also relieves you from bloating and gas, and it breaks down the constituents that come in beans and legumes and dense starches. Allerzyme contains barley grass. So if you are celiac, you need to do your research, because depending on who you are, you have to do your research. I've heard of people with celiac that still use allerzyme, but you do have to be your own, advocate on that. So enzymes are marvelous. They have changed my life. Years ago, whenever I didn't know about all the supplements from Young Living, I used prescription grade enzymes, and they helped me bunches. I went to a naturopath, and she helped me a lot. I mean, the inflammation went down. I didn't lose weight, actually. It was mostly like I shrunk. I don't know. I mean, I can show you pictures. Send me an email and I'll send you the pictures. It was crazy. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. And whenever I started Young Living, I wasn't interested in doing any supplements. And now that's my main thing. I get my oils for free with, essential rewards, but that's another thing. Well, anyways, enzymes have given me the freedom of movement. I can think clearly. I've always had an issue with my gut. Dealt with constipation and the bloating and not being able to process different foods that were never an issue before. As I aged, I even developed allergies to different kinds of foods that I wasn't allergic to before. So I'm hoping that they will go away as my gut heals. But I mean, I never know. I'm gonna have to go find out with a doctor, because I'm not gonna go to the ER again like I did about 12 years ago. That was my last time I ended up eating what I love and pay dearly for it. But I am hopeful that my gut, regardless of my allergies, I am going to start getting better. I mean, I am getting better. I do have movement every day. I'm like a baby, you eat, you go, which is awesome. I never knew what that felt like. And it feels amazing once these, gets out of you. It's like it goes out of here too, because now I find out that everything is connected. So, So I'm just gonna conclude saying, right, that yes, we do have a second brain that you need to take care of, and it is marvelously made, amazingly made. I don't know. Please help me with the language. It is my second language, but it is marvelous. You are made in a way that's supposed to work perfectly. Sadly, because of all the things that we're surrounded with that Mahal talked about, the toxins and the processed food and all those things, and in the overuse of them, and the sugar and the salt and the flour, all of that has messed us up, but we're not a lost cause. We can still work and make better decisions. And we now, I mean, supplements to me are not the solutions, are the tool, because the solution is within me. The solution is right here. I just have to give it a push. I just have to give it some help. And that's what it is. So every time that you're about to eat, pause and think about the way that we are made, and give it the tools so it can process and get rid of stuff, the yuck that we have inside us, so we can, I mean, as long as we are cleaning ourselves, we're gonna make better decisions. I had a love affair with sugar for almost 20 years, because before I got married, I wasn't like that. I didn't love sugar. I consumed it, of course, but I didn't love it. And then I got married. My husband has a sweet tooth, and I developed it. And I developed a sweet tooth, and everything grew. And then the inflammation came, and then my accidents came, and then my diagnosis came. And if you know my story, if you don't know it, I can send it to you. My story is all about disease. And now I have the tools to help my diseases. And maybe one day I'm gonna say that I'm cured, but I don't care if I'm not cured right now. I can live. I can function in spite of. And I am doing something for my body, and my body is thanking me. So give it a try. That's all for me. Thank you so much for listening. I'm gonna give it over to who now?
Dana.
Dana. Okay, Dana. Take it away.
Hey, that was awesome, Millie. Good job. Very interesting. Okay, so I have oils that help support healthy digestion, and I have 4 singles that I'm going to talk about, and 3 blends. So let me just get started with the singles. My first one is fennel. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Okay. Fennel dates way back. Let's see. They found a papyrus dating from the 16th century BC, and the ancient Egyptians listed 877 recipes that had fennel in it, that they used for different things. So they would hang sprigs over their doors to fend off evil. They thought that it helped to fend off evil. So for hundreds of years, fennel seeds have been used to aid in digestion as well. Fennel. And all of these oils that I'm going to talk about come as labeled for topical use, but they also come as a dietary supplement. So labeled for ingestion. Fennel stimulates the gastrointestinal system, and it promotes healthy digestion. It's kind of got a licoricey. If you like licorice, you like this. Fennel is one of my favorites. Got a licorice aroma to it. Okay, and mine is probably not going to be as long as Millie's or Mahal's. So I've just given information on the oils. Theirs was pretty neat with the science behind all that and how the enzymes work and things. Okay, peppermint is our next one. So I'm going to show you some of these I have in Vitality and some of them I have in the regular, but you can use either one. Just remember, if you use the ones labeled this way, they're labeled for topical or aromatic use. So you can diffuse it, you can rub it on topically. I recommend, if you're not used to using essential oils, that you do dilute it with a carrier oil. And then also I'll be showing you some of the Vitality. These are labeled for dietary, as a dietary supplement for ingestion. So with fennel, you can make like a post-meal tonic, or put it in some tea and drink it that way. You can rub it on topically, or you can put it in a capsule and take it. The next one is peppermint. This is one of the most highly regarded herbs for improving digestion. It relaxes the smooth muscles in the gastrointestinal tract, and it promotes peristalsis. Peristalsis is the wave-like motions that move the contents of the intestinal tract forward. So that's what keeps everything going. And peppermint is good to help promote that. Again, you can do this one in a tea or in a capsule, or diffuse or apply topically. Okay. My next one is ginger. Ginger is traditionally used to help combat nausea and gastrointestinal fermentation. It helps to calm the stomach, and it's kind of like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's a nice, pleasant scent. But again, a lot of these you can do like in a tea after a meal. And it's just kind of, if you've eaten too much, it'll kind of just help calm things down in there. And then the last one, single, is lemongrass. Lemongrass is a vasodilator, so it helps improve digestion by dilating all the blood vessels that go to the gastrointestinal tract, and just helping, like the ginger, with the peristalsis. Okay, now I'm going to move into the blends. So my first blend is Digest. Okay, this one is awesome. So Digest has fennel, peppermint, lemongrass, ginger, and anise, patchouli, tarragon, and juniper. Okay, so this one blend has all 4 of the singles that I mentioned in it. They're all good for digestion, plus 3 others. So if you're having any kind of digestive upset issues, anything like that, this one will help get you back on track. It is an adaptogen oil. If you use that blend, if you're, having trouble going, it'll help get you going. If you're going too much, it'll help slow things down. So it's one of my favorites. The other blend, I do not have the last 2 blends, but I'm going to talk about them anyway. So one is GLF. Okay, it comes in a vitality oil, and it helps to support a healthy gallbladder and liver function. Okay, it works well with detoxime and essential zyme. So the supplements that Millie was mentioning, the detoxime and essential zyme chomps it all up, and then the detoxime helps get rid of it. But if your liver, everything is filtered through your liver, and if your liver's not functioning properly, then you're going to have some issues. So GLF helps to support healthy liver function. It contains grapefruit, ledum, helichrysum, hyssop, celery, and spearmint. These all offer many wellness benefits, including digestive and immune support. I'm sorry, y'all, I can't talk tonight. You can mix it in smoothies or take it in a capsule. It's also good to combine with a 5-day nutritive cleanse to help facilitate gentle and effective cleansing of your body. And then my last blend is Juva Cleanse. Again, it contains helichrysum, ledum, and celery, and it's formulated to have cleansing properties to help support digestion and a healthy immune system. Like I said, the liver needs to be functioning properly to detoxify everything that those enzymes are chomping up. Okay, and we have a whole Juva line. So we have Juva Cleanse, but we've got Juva Flex, Juva Tone. Those are all good dietary support, oils or supplements. So go check those out in your Young Living office. That is all the oils that I have to talk about. Thank you for listening. And so it's you.
Yeah, and Dana, I also want to add Tummy Jives.
Oh yeah, the
blend
kitchen.
for children. It's already pre-diluted. And
Right.
also, if you have pets and you don't have like Paragize, I think is what's for pets. Tummy Jives is so nice and gentle for your pets to use as well for, you know, for digestive issues. So, yep. Thank you, Dana. That's awesome. All right, Marlo, you're up next. This is fun. Parasites. Are you ready for parasites? Hold on, Marlo. All right.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. My whole speech was already done, and I was on mute. Just kidding. Hi, everybody. I'm giggling because I'm seeing people I hadn't seen in a while.
I know.
Good to see you guys. So, who can tell me the best picture, the Oscars for 2019? Nobody? Nobody? Anybody? Oh my God. I'm the only movie fan on the Zoom. Okay. It was called Parasite.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was.
It did receive a lot of awards. I remember that now.
Yes, my Korean peeps represented.
Yep.
And I couldn't help but think about that tonight because that's my topic. Parasite was an amazing movie. It's not for the faint-hearted, but I do, you know, anything that wins Best Picture gets my imagination going because I'm a big movie fan. But it was all about a poor family living secretly in the basement of this rich family. Okay, very, very mysterious. And they had no clue. The maid of the house actually snuck her husband, who was kind of, I don't know, kind of ill and kind of a lot of issues going on. She was living there. She would leave, so-called leave work, sneak into the basement, cellar, and her husband was hidden under there. And she would sneak food to him, and she would, you know, steal like medicines and money. And it was just like this whole thing. So I don't want to give away the plot just in case anybody is curious enough to go watch the movie. But that is perfect explanation of what parasites do. They are usually undetected, unknown, unaware of, and they need a host to survive. They cannot survive outside of the body. They have to be using you, feeding off of you, okay? And so the US especially is pretty ignorant about the fact that parasites even exist. Just like these people had no clue that right below their surface of their home were these weirdos living out under there. So yeah, very creepy. But it's moving from the movie world to the real world. we have parasites living among us, guys. Let's just get that out there on the table now, and then we can kind of deal with the bad news, and then we'll move to the good news. Our colon is equal to a sewer. According to Dr. William Hunter, he suggests that unfortunately it is very neglected and full of toxins. We are exposed to them every single day. Many of them we have zero control of, but many of them we do have control of, especially in our homes and some of the things Mahal mentioned and other people, and our diet and our drink. The Royal Medical Society of Great Britain suggested that there are 65 different health issues that start with the gut issues, and that's putting it conservatively. A few of them are arthritis, fibromyalgia, dermatitis, fatigue. How many of you just feel tired all the time? You cannot figure out why. You're eating well, you're exercising, doing your thing as best you can, but you just feel exhausted. And I have dealt with that. Even mental problems can improve with care of your colon, with your digestive system. We are a culture that loves white flour. Hands raised. And I think that's really all over the world, not just our culture, in all fairness. But in our culture, we are really obsessed with the white flour. And for me, doing keto, I thought would have been impossible because almost everything I ate was white flour and sugar. So for me to have been doing it now for several months, it's been by the grace of God, for sure. But I feel so much better. Unfortunately, with the white flour and the sugar, this creates a very thick lining and it blocks the absorption of nutrients. So me and my Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and all these wonderful places I like to go to for my organic foods, and my mom rolls her eyes. If I am full of white sugar and flour, all these nutrients are just not absorbing into the body. So there's that. This becomes a breeding ground for parasites. They live on what we eat and are unable to digest. So when we have that thick paste in our gut, our foods become undigestible and unabsorbable, and this is when the parasites have a field day. The parasites actually excrete a toxin which makes you sick. So if you've taken care of every known health issue that you know of and you still cannot seem to get well, the parasites could very much be to blame. They are eating and breeding and creating a disease in you. Some estimate that we may host up to 100 different parasites. No! And there are hookworms, tapeworms, roundworms, pinworms, flukes, amoebas, giardia, and they migrate, guys, back and forth. It's like our body is a highway from our colon all throughout our body, unfortunately. Kind of like calling in Orkin, but we need to do that for our actual body. They go back and forth through the colon, to the colon, and throughout the rest of our body. They can actually perforate the bowel. So this could cause you allergies. It could cause foreign particles. It could leak through the intestinal wall and even cause fecal matter to enter into places that it shouldn't be in. I told you this was not pretty, but we need to hear this because we need to get serious about getting rid of these bad boys. So that is why we are so inflamed and we are so super toxic. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. So how do we clean up? Again, they believe that death starts in the colon, but this is where life can begin as well. All of these things are being pushed to our other organs as well. So we need to have a cleanse. But only the Young Living products, to me, as far as my experience goes, have the highest quality of cleanses. And you can go on and you can Google cleanses. I'm not an expert on cleansing. And in fact, this is a fairly new topic to me. Before I came to Mahal's classes in the oil shop, I was one of those people, I didn't even know parasites existed. If anything, maybe, some unfortunate soul might have had a parasite back 100 years ago, but not me, right? So this is a revelation and definitely a work in progress for me as well. I believe Young Living has the very best products because we are only the ones who have the highest quality of our seed to seal, of course. And you can buy things in the store all day long, but if they're not absorbing into your body, you're wasting your money. And with the essential oils inside of our supplements, it's giving it that extra ability to absorb into our bodies. So absorption is key. You also need enzymes, as Millie did a brilliant job talking about. The enzymes break up the mucus lining that I talked about in our bowels. A cleanse would equal less white flour or no white flour. It can be done. There is life outside of white flour. I'm still surviving. More fruits and vegetables. I recommend multi-greens. Not that great at getting in all my greens every day, but thank God for Ningxia Red. And thank God for multi-green supplements. Multi-greens is amazing. So that would be a great suggestion. Getting rid of that paste equals, that paste can equal colon cancer if we don't take care of it. So cleansing every 6 months is highly recommended. So after you do a cleanse, then we can now address the parasites. Wow, that 10 minutes went by fast. Now we can actually get rid of parasites because we get rid of their breeding ground, not only in the colon, but throughout the body, but they start in the digestive tract. Some of the symptoms of parasites include anal itching, anemia, gas, gluten intolerance, hypoglycemia, joint pain, fatigue, constipation, and rashes. I highly recommend para-free, which is what we have. There are different herbal remedies that take a whole lot of time, guys. Parasites don't let go easily. Okay, if you watch that movie, you'll see the whole process of how, you'll see the whole process of how there was a whole, yeah, I'm not gonna give it away, but go see that movie. But the parasites don't leave just like one ingestion of para-free. It is highly recommended that you take 3 to 4 gel caps 2 times a day for 3 weeks, rest and repeat, and even rest and repeat again. Many people, and I've heard Mahal talk about this, around the time of the full moon is an optimal time see, I did listen, Mahal, even though I was grossed out. Optimal time to do that because the parasites go to the colon. It's the whole gravity thing. They go to the colon and they lay their eggs and then do their whole thing. So dealing with them around the full moon time, but at least every 6 months, whether you change your diet or not, I recommend changing the diet. Many people change their diet and it deals with it a little bit better. But even if you don't, or if you do, parasites need to be cleansed. Just like I would not cancel my Orchid Man, I don't want to cancel my parasite cleansing. Avoid undercooked meats and fish. Here's when these fruit and veggie wash comes in. Don't go grabbing that grape, as delicious as it might look, and throwing it in your mouth. Please soak those, wash those, because it has that film on there, and it also has, it's locked in there, so water doesn't take that off by itself. If you ever go through the fruit veggie section, what do they have? They have sprinklers. So all that stuff that's on there, there's a chemical, and it is water resistant and just locks in all that dirt and grime. So please. So para-free is also gluten-free, just to let you know, and it is amazing. I've used it myself, and just like everything Young Living does, it's the top of the line. So, all right, guys, that's it.
Yay! Awesome,
Getting
awesome. So yeah, like thank you so much, Marla. Like I'm so glad you remembered the full moon. I was gonna say, oh, do it in full moon. But anyway, full moon is when, like, just think of that as when it's full moon. That's the time that all the parasites want to party. So as what Marla said, they all like kind of come out, and so that's the time that you want to start. You do it, you know, 4 gel cups, 3 to 4 gel cups 2 times a day. Do that 3 weeks. Rest a week. Do that 3 times. Do the cycle 3 times. Deborah Rayburn said when you do it that way, you kill grandma, grandpa, and all the eggs that were, during that full moon. So like you have to do that cycle. Anyway, I think I had like very early on with Young Living when I was doing Axel's colon cleansing and followed with the parasite protocol. They had the parafree was out of stock, so I did like a different parasite protocol for him. Anyway, I have to dig that out and see, but it's just like several oils in a capsule that I made.
I remember.
We did all of it together. So
I remember you put cotea.
huh? Okay, yeah.
I remember you used cotea.
Yeah. There were several that were in there, but anyway. And I tell people like if you just want to do like a gentle cleanse, just get a like the big bottle of of Digest and just take it like whatever it says in the bottle. Take that orally and just until you finish it. That's such a good cleanse that you can do if you're afraid of all of the common cleansing stuff. But anyway, we're doing good, guys. We have like 8, sometimes 10 people, kind of pop up in our class today. So that's awesome. I'm gonna unmute you guys and see if you have any questions. I enjoy the chat. I enjoy the chat. All right.
This recording, are you gonna post it? Where do you post it?
Yes. So like I don't know what happened the last time. Like it I don't know. The file something happened to the file. We recorded it, it's in there, but it's not a viewable file. I don't know what happened. So that's why I didn't promise anything. This one I'm like, I'll post it if I can. But anyways, I'll try again this time. But yeah, I will post it on everywhere. Oil drops, on our sharing oils, and on our wellness lounge.
I
We
have a friend.
gotta go see the movie.
I like the movie now.
Let's do it. Let's do it like a Zoom movie night.
Yep, me too.
All right, you guys.
It's good. I mean, it did win Best Picture, so hey.
I know they received a lot of awards. I just want to invite you guys to there's still time to do the symposium. I've been sharing the link to that. They have some really cool stuff, but I just want to say like this very applicable topic today. That this is from Dr. Jim Bob. He said that our body is the most amazing machine that is created by God to function perfectly. He said, think of it as like a high-end machine, or like the most amazing brand of car. And, for it to function well, it's designed by God to function perfectly. It doesn't need crappy food or crappy drink. It has to have some really, really good stuff as well. And so remember, we, like I think of that biohacking, like we have 90% say on what, our body will be like, how our DNA is expressed. To me, that's so amazing. So, all right, you guys, any questions?
I think my question.
Hi, Miss B.
Hey, Miss B.
Hi, B.
I,
Good to see you.
I don't know. My question is, so take the parafree and then which other one? The essential zyme?
Now, like if you do the colon cleansing first before you do the address the parasites. So for the colon, like for the Young Living colon cleanse, they have the essential zyme, ICP, and the other one, comfort tone. Yeah. So those 3 first, and then do the parafree after. Yeah. It's worth it. It's fun.
Okay.
How can you say that it's fun?
It's a lot of fun.
What's so do you party with the bugs whenever they come out?
Yeah, like,
I'm like terrified to even look. I just like do my business and run out. I don't even want to see anything.
You're gonna be surprised of what comes out, you guys.
I don't want to see anything.
I always look because I learned, that a lot of your health is there. But if I do a parasite
I like
cleanse,
run.
I don't think I could look. I don't think so. Ugh.
Well, when the first time we did a colon cleanse, I would tell Axel to not flush the toilet because I want to see what's coming out. And he,
No.
like the first time he looks like scared. It was horrible. Just to warn you.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, it was. Which was, I'm glad that all of that's,
How is he holding up now with, with all the changes?
he is doing good. He keeps on, although it's a selfish prayer, because he wants to go saying, Mommy, let's pray to God that all the people are healed by May. Yes, so everything's repeated for him, so it has to be in a calendar that by May, like all the people are healed. So
Oh.
I know. So Dana, can you tell them about the next class?
Yes, so we're going to be doing our next Zoom will be on May 5th, at 8 o'clock. It will be something for everyone, from newborn to 99 and beyond, even our fur family. We're going to be talking about different product lines that we have. So we'll be talking about the animal sense line, the kids sense line, the over-the-counter line, and the seedlings line.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Yay.
I'm doing the pets.
Yes.
yay!
I'm doing kids.
What are you doing, Dana?
I have seedlings.
Seedlings.
I'm doing kid sense.
And
Marlo,
Marlo,
what are you doing?
Marlo
Over the
has
counter,
autistic.
over the counter, and I'm making all the claims.
Yay!
Hey, I'm jealous.
Watch out,
What did I
FDA.
think about? All right, guys.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody, for
thank you so
connecting.
much. It's so good to see you.
Bye.
Adios, amiguitas.
Bye.
Have y'all.
Bye, Vina. Good to see you.
Bye.
Have a